It's me, Vera, here to remind you that this is an adult podcast. That means we're going to deal with tough topics. Take a break if you need it, and be kind to yourself, because we sure won't be.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Stitch of Fate, a Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition podcast. As always, I am your storyteller, Mike Martin, joined by my four wonderful players, Dot, Josh, Mark, and Bub. Hello, all of you.
Hello.
Hi.
Oh.
I know it's only been a week for our dear listeners, but for you four, it's been 2 weeks since we last left off, so I'm sure you're
2 weeks of wondering.
Yes, of wondering. Yes.
Wondering,
Stress.
maybe doing some deep diving on the internet, figure out what it is I'm presenting before you, but we'll see how that all goes.
Yeah, fretting.
I'm excited to continue.
Fretting is the term. We've been fretting.
Fair enough. Fair.
We've
But
also
as
been
always-
celebrating, Mathas. We've also
Oh,
been
that's right.
celebrating.
Yeah. Take it, Dot. What happened with Dot? What did we win?
What did we win? Well, Mathas, you've won 3 awards. No, we've won 3
Just
awards
me.
for this podcast, which is pretty cool. Mathas won one for STing. I am very humbled to have won one for Vera, and the podcast won for best new podcast production, which is freaking awesome.
All right. Very cool. Thank you all
Yeah,
for
it's very,
voting
very
for us.
cool.
It's sick.
Yeah,
I'm stoked for it.
It's really sweet. Actually, so there's a couple things. If y'all really want to celebrate, you actually can go get a copy of our certificate framed on the Audioverse website. So, if you want to have what we're going to have hanging on our walls, go support the Audioverse Awards, because they'll be rolling around again next year. And we may not be new, but we'll be back.
I would also like to, before we move in, just say, hey, thank you, patrons, thank you for
Yes.
support. If you guys want to directly support the show and help us keep going, that's the best place to do it. Patreon.com/podbynight is where you can go directly support us. But if you can't do that way, then spreading the word, writing a review, letting your friends know about the podcast is even in many ways even better than jumping over to Patreon and throwing money our way. Both would be great too. We won't say no to both. Beyond that, I think we're good and we can kind of just jump into the next episode. So if everybody's ready, let's rein things in and see what our coterie is up to. We hear nothing when the camera picks up. Just a dim, quietly lit blood room in the basement of our favorite and familiar club belonging to dear Vera Volkov. And a few moments that pass as the dim light creepily hangs over the empty blood room with a corpse laying in torpor by a bench near a table that has a manila folder with papers stacked in it. Before long, we hear the back door swing open, footsteps scurrying down, and a familiar panicking voice asking question after question.
You're telling me demon? What the fuck does that mean?
Put a cork in it, kid. Come on.
Footsteps followed by slow plodding ones of Max, the high heel clack on concrete of Vera, and the slow methodic footsteps of plain shoes of Duke following after the closing of the door. We then see Sean clatter through first as each individual files into the blood room, standing varying distances from our dear sleeping prince.
I will put a cork in it when the image of whatever the fuck that was is scrubbed from my mind.
Yeah, I gotta admit, I got pretty Clive Barker back there.
Did he just give us permission to wipe his mind?
Sounded like
What?
that to me.
That's what I heard.
You heard... just explain what the fuck a demon is and why it was in Larson's basement.
Do us all a favor, Sean. Lower your voice. There are still people around, and talking of demons is not polite in kindred society.
So we're not allowed to talk about it. Like, the spooky bump in the night things aren't allowed to talk about whatever this is.
Yeah, look, Vera, he might be a little bit hyper here, but the kid's got a point. There ain't no two ways around it. That's what we saw.
Vera turns to Sean and goes, "You're right, it is a problem. But we cannot panic. And more important, this is far above us.
Our job was to go in and clean that place of thin bloods. And we did. Now it's our time to tell Kadir that Larson and Mia are messing with things that are far above their pay grade.
Okay. If you think that will genuinely get someone on their case, fine.
I'm still kicking myself for not just rolling a grenade into there, but who knows what that might have done. Could have freed that thing. Magic.
Tell me again, this thing, the thing.
Yes, give us some descriptions, please.
Well, like I said, pretty Clive Barker. The thing looked like it had been halfway skinned. Its flesh was hanging off of its bones. The clacky teeth at the front, the whole bit.
It was grim. It was chained up. There were must have been 50 people drop dead and then it appeared.
50 people just dropped dead, not kindred people.
Yeah, I figure it's all the folks that they've been feeding that goop to. That's what gets them down there, I think. And then, who knows? Maybe there's some of the demon's ichor or whatever you call it in the drinks. Hard to say, but they're basically there to be fodder. Maybe to feed the thing, maybe to summon it in the first place. I don't know.
Make it stronger.
Could be.
I think you're right. They're feeding it, they're fattening it up. For what, I don't know. And they're having to use mortals.
Giant vampire?
Oh, Sean.
Was this that it was buffeting this figure? Or was it something more? Was this fluid, as far as we can tell, something that was deigned and designed to lure them down, to make them supplicating? Or was this something more? I just am curious to know if we might know it is a placebo, or if this is something akin to Jonestown.
I don't know. From what I saw, it looks like they drink this stuff and then they kind of go into a trance and then they get led down there like sheep to the slaughter. It might just be something to keep them calm. Might be some kind of actual, I don't know. Like I say, magic. Yeah, all of this stuff's out of my wheelhouse. Some of Gustav's old buddies, they were messed up in this kind of crap.
Can I make a roll on something like this, Mathas?
Intelligence occult would be the roll you would need to make.
Okay, that's not bad for me.
And what are you specifically looking to pull for knowledge here?
Just basic descriptors to see if there's anything that is vampire lore or something more that I may have tripped upon at some point.
Alright, we'll see what you roll here.
I got 4 successes.
Yeah. So again, you would know that demon summoning is something that very few kindred can and are willing to venture into. However, specifics of labels of demons and types of demons is knowledge that is not kept. That is not something that's easily accessible. Only the highest of the high in the Tremere would have knowledge something like that, and even then, they consider it forbidden.
Am I aware at all if this is something that Thin Blood Alchemy can achieve, even if in mass
It
numbers?
should not be able to achieve this. Thin Blood Alchemy should not be able to achieve something like this.
Not even in mass numbers of them?
I mean, anything is possible in mass numbers. If there's some sort of Tremere maybe trying to do something, blood magic is very weird. But on the surface level, no, I've never.
You look
Do
like
you have anything more of that fluid? Did we give that all to Kadir?
Kadir gave him what we had in the bottle. I didn't know we were supposed to save some. Figured he was the best one to figure out what it was.
Yeah, I doubt the what was it, Omnia? It's not going to have another Thursday night. So we're not going to be able to get a held of some.
Vera licks under a fingernail, finishing cleaning it from earlier in the evening. And
She says, but Sean, you're the only one of us who got to test it. Did it have any effect on you?
He didn't actually drink it. We pulled the old switcheroo and I decanted it.
Oh no, I totally did.
What, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So, I thought it would be fun to give it a go because nothing happened the first time when Larson didn't seem surprised, and then the kids who picked me up and took me to the back room to ask me questions I didn't want to seem weird.
You didn't want to
That's what all
seem...
the cool kids were doing.
You didn't want to seem weird. Yeah, boy. Still, it looks like we got ourselves a guinea pig then, huh?
I just imagine the camera catches as each individual turns their head towards Sean.
Might be a poor decision to render him available to the Chantry. The Tremere might have their ways with him, especially if we discuss further about what we have seen, and we already know exactly how Kadir feels about the Thin Bloods.
Can't we ask them, like, what a demon is and stuff?
Go on, Sean, tell me more about all of your Tremere contacts. And I can tell
Right.
you about how the Chantry just reach out and have field days with every other kindred that they come across.
I'm assuming that's sarcasm.
Yes. Viscous amounts of it, yes.
Oh, you've made progress.
We all make changes. Sean, I'll see to the Chantry.
Okay.
Look,
I was thinking I might see to the Thin Bloods. If Larson made 3, then he'll make 4 or 5.
True. Look, we know Gustav's involved here somehow. I mean, Stinky was making some kind of drop-off with these guys. Could be...
At the club.
Yeah.
Oh. Now that is an interesting find. Did she speak to you?
Yeah. Yeah, I had a few words. Look, she's a good kid. It's just Gustav's got his claws in her deep.
So how do we fix that?
She doesn't deserve his claws that deep.
No, nobody does.
And I imagine she is chocked full of information.
Look, like I say, Vera, I don't want nothing bad to happen to her, alright? I don't consider her expendable, okay?
Neither do I. That's why we need to protect her, yes?
Yeah, and
Max, has she been bonded?
pretty sure she has. I know the signs.
Then we hold her and sever the blood anchor. It's only time is the palatable stage of removal here.
She's probably going to be pretty pissed that you're keeping her captive.
And you know it'll take at least a month if it's minimal, if it's the max.
We got that kind of time?
No, I guess not. But I imagine if she spoke to you, she's strong enough to fight it.
Yeah. Yeah, like I say, she doesn't have the whole picture. She doesn't know what Gustav's all about, not like I do.
I feel for her.
Me too. But, here's the thing. If Gustav is involved somehow, well, like I said, the circles he used to move in, well, let's say some of his associates were, worse than the Sabbat, in my opinion.
Do you think you could find Stinky again?
Maybe. I mean, I just found her by chance. I saw her at the club and tailed her.
They're messy. They'll pop back up, I have no doubt.
Max, the next time you see her, assure her that she is always safe here.
Okay. I'll do my best, but, like I say, Gustav can be pretty persuasive. And from, the sounds of things, he's, treating her with kid gloves. I think she honestly thinks that he's after her best interests, you know?
Well, then we need to show her that somebody else has her best interest in mind.
Okay, well, I'll keep my eyes peeled, but like I say, I don't know where to look for her. Ran into her at that club randomly.
Max, you continue to run into this girl. Your fates are crossed. It will happen again.
I feel it's a lot less of us waiting to stumble into Stinky and Gustav, and a lot more of us waiting to run into Larson and Mia. They seem to be the messier of the few.
Did they see you see their demon?
Nah.
Not as far as you could tell, no.
Well, they're going to know someone was there. They're going to be missing 3 adorable Thin Bloods.
I told the waitress my name.
Oh, Sean. Well, they definitely know now. So they're either going to have to move, or they're going to have to keep operations on site, and they'll up security.
Sean, there's a very good chance that Larson seeks you out, and I think this is a prime opportunity. He was, without a doubt, in your best interest and knowledge of knowing. Would you say that the triplets were his, that he had brought them to be?
They said they were. They didn't know what was going on. They were basically just doing what they were told because they thought it was normal.
Well, with that knowledge in mind, we should consider the fact that the father will seek out the son. You were the first that he had immediately tried to sire, yes? And you have now, in his mind, removed his immediate progeny. He's going to want to know why you did that. You should come up with some sort of executable lie that's believable enough for him.
I can do that. Has anyone been by his house?
Not yet.
Creepy.
This might be a good opportunity then. If none of us have been there, Sean, I think that you might want to begin seeking him out. If you seek him before he finds you, then he'll know that you are in distress. You have some fears, and you might be able to best lie and explain to yourself or to him that you were only defending yourselves against 3 very jealous, non-first childer.
Yeah, we'll see how that one plays out. But either way, yeah, I think I want to find more Thin Bloods. Whether it's Larson or not.
And do what?
They're going to make more. That much I have no doubt.
Sean.
Yeah?
I'm going to try to put something in perspective for you.
May I ask a question about Vera? Is she looking frustrated when he brings that up? I'm curious the kind of, what do we see, what emotion are we seeing as she starts to talk to Sean?
Well, she doesn't want you to know that she's frustrated with Sean regarding the Thin Bloods.
Perhaps the listeners, though. What are the listeners getting the inner monologue of? Like, what emotion is Vera feeling right then, this moment? Hearing he wants to find more Thin Bloods to hang out with.
I imagine you hear, like, her nails click on the table, and inside, she's kind of like a raging cat. Like on the inside, she's just kind of waiting for that moment to pounce, and constantly trying to fend that back.
And she says, Sean, I'm going to put something into perspective for you. Tonight, we were given permission by the sheriff of New York City to go into a club and slaughter 3 Thin Bloods, which I thoroughly enjoyed. Now, you, correct me if I am wrong, are a Thin Blood, yes?
Yep.
And you would like to go seek out more of these Thin Bloods, in which I have no doubt we will also continue to hunt for our sheriff. Now, please tell me if I missed the mark here somewhere.
No, you are 100% on track.
I'm going to remind you that we would like to keep you safe.
I would like to keep the Thin Bloods safe.
I will tell you something that I have told Duke. Do what you like, but the moment you put this coterie in danger, you become my problem. And I'm really good at getting rid of problems.
Well, I hope you have as much fun doing that as you did tonight.
I've no doubt that I will.
I'll keep that in mind, Vera. But the Thin Bloods are our best bet for getting to Larson.
This may be true. Just remember whose side you're on, hmm?
Always do.
Max will sort of pull Sean aside just briefly and just say,
Okay, kid, you might want to watch the mouth. You're getting on thin ice with Vera over here, okay?
After you finish your sentence, you feel claws in your jacket as your cat climbs to the top of your shoulder and curls around and purrs mid-conversation with Sean.
Hey there, Max Jr. How you doing? Look, I gotta finish building a little cat gymnasium for this fella, and I gotta go check in with Sam. Let me know if you need anything there, Vera.
Thank you, Max.
Come on.
I'm going to see my way out of the room and wait at the top of the stairs if I can. Particularly, I'm waiting for Sean.
Sure, we see Max leave, petting his cat, going to finish that gymnasium, and Duke patiently leaving the room a little earlier, but waiting at the top of the stairs. After there's a bit of a silence or tense silence. Go ahead, Josh. You were going to say something?
No, I was just saying Sean's gonna go check out the prince again.
Okay.
See what's going on with her.
She looks the same. All wounds seem healed. No vitae leaks from any orifices, and yet she still remains clearly in a state of, at least at this point, appearing to still be torpor. Eyes are open, jaws slack.
He's just gonna say, cheers for not getting me killed straight away. We'll talk later. And then he turns around and leaves the room.
Leaving Vera alone with the torpored prince. And as you make your way up the stairs, about halfway up, as you look up, you realize standing there, still as can be, is Duke Premond.
Evening.
Sean, I'd like a moment of your time.
Anything you need.
Come with me to my office, please.
Yes, sir.
He swings the door open, leads you quietly to his room.
Please take a seat.
Sean does so. Very rigidly.
There's no need to bring a tense, turgid nature. I'm not here to scold or belittle you.
Oh. What do you need then?
I can sense some unease on your person. You carry this with you, the weight of Thin Bloods, the weight of whom you are. Does it worry you much?
The fact that at any point someone could decide that I might need to die is normally a pretty big axe above my head, yeah. And also, I'm kind of part of the problem now. I killed a guy accidentally, and I didn't even want to.
I can understand. It's a bit grating. How are you feeling thus far?
Hungry.
Hungry. Something we can agree upon. Sean, I have to express to you that your heart is bleeding for those that will not bleed for you. You must be careful, and you've probably wondered all this time why I've taken some sort of liking to you, why I've sat you down multiple times to discuss my feelings on the matter.
Yeah.
And tonight seems the most present way of explaining those to you. I'm sure you've grasped that the world is cold, it is hard, and people are infinitely worse regardless of how close they are.
It sucks. It just fucking sucks sometimes.
Interesting choice of words considering that we are vampires.
Wordplay and sarcasm in the same night.
I know. What is the world coming to?
I'm a very lucky boy.
You are. You are, Sean, because I've taken an interest in you. I've taken an interest because nobody is watching out for your best interest, not even yourself, and that makes you foolish. You are still incredibly young, and though you are thin blood, you have quite a lot of promise. You have to begin looking out for yourself. Stop showing us your weaknesses, because we will use that against you, even myself, in a moment of exploit to our advantage. That is what it means to be a kindred. We present only our value to those around us, which is why I, previously in life a serial killer, has become so remotely influential in my post-life. I listen more than I speak. That's your problem. You never know when to shut up. Your bleeding heart will get you killed. Because the other thin bloods that you come across, they will shed no tears for you. And they will leave you out into the sun, or whatever it is closest to your death and fears, to save their own skin.
I really, really hope you're wrong.
I love being wrong, Sean. I love finding pieces of the puzzle that prove to me that my line of thought is linear, not multidimensional. Fallacies are oftentimes proving enough, but rarely do they come about. Prove to me and the others that you know what to do, because I know that you can, and though I am no parental figure, I do not even remotely wish to be as such. I understand what it means to have a figure above you lord their position, humiliate and debase you, and what it does to them to become hostile, violent, and debased.
Well, you say they've got nobody looking out for me. Seems like the three of you have... It's just got a tiny little...
Sean, we were your
spark of hope.
babysitters.
Come on. Come on. Just a... I wouldn't be here now if you didn't like me. Just a little bit.
Do you remember the previous Christmases when you levied that gun across the room at my head?
Yeah, I guess I do.
You thought for certain that I wouldn't see it, and you just didn't even consider the fact that we entered a room full of mirrors.
I was distracted.
You were distracted. What are your opinions of me, Sean, now that you know the truth?
Well, I've not seen you murder anyone.
That's how you know I'm talented. And do you find it interesting enough that tonight 3 thin bloods died and my fingers are clean from the experience? Some people are performers, others orchestrate. We all play a role. Play yours, keep your skin, hide your heart, and steal your nerves. This is not the last time you will kill a person, Sean.
It's not the first either, so...
You probably notice like a small head tilt in surprise.
It's time that I got to work. You know,
Very well. Then another time.
proving that I know what I'm up to and all that.
If there's anything that I can do to help you, feel free to ask. This is not a boon offered to you. This is simply a favor from Coterie to Coterie. I here am making myself available, and if you would like to forget this figure that you saw in the basement of that club, I too can make that happen.
Wait, what?
Exactly.
Okay. Thanks. Bye.
And we watch as Sean awkwardly swings the door open and leaves in a, one could consider a hurry. Now, we do know that Max would like to speak with Sam, obviously finish the cat gymnasium, but the other 3, what are your individual goals moving forward? The night is running young, so running late rather, so all these checking ups will happen the following evening, since the club took a chunk of time, etc. But what would like everybody's next individual wishes and goals be? Is there anybody you'd like to meet up with, speak with? Duke, do you want to go to the Chantry? Is that
Chantry,
something? Okay.
and Duke needs to feed.
Okay, we'll get some feeding in for everybody then. What about Sean?
Sean needs to feed, and he needs to... I think he's probably going to start by staking out Larson's house.
Okay, sounds good. And what about Vera? Does Vera need to feed as well?
Vera does not need to feed.
Excellent.
I think she's going to spend the evening contemplating all of this new information
Sure.
over the prince's body. She sits there and just stares at her.
I was going to say, do we see, do we watch as Vera strides over and sits next to her? Does she stand over her? Like, how does she position herself near the prince? Body language can speak a lot.
Oh, she'll pull up a chair. Yeah, you're right. I think there is a moment where she kind of looms over her, and then she makes a decision to pull up a chair.
Like you loom over her. In a lot of ways, this Vera knows, but the Coterie knows. Ending her life right now would actually make things so much simpler. Removing her and dusting the prince would and put into motion. A new prince would have to be sat, and all these issues would finally be resolved. Larson could be removed from the council, and justice and order could be restored. In a lot of ways, having her sitting here in torpor prolongs a lot of these problems. It's a small topic that has come up amongst the Coterie a few times, but something that rises to the surface of the mind when one sits alone with the prince for a while. It is an insane power play that you have sitting in your basement, after all.
It's true. And Vera feels very good about it. So she lights up a cigar, and she sits there and smokes and looks at the prince. Just making a point, an unsaid point. So if this bitch ever comes out of torpor, she knows.
It's actually, I mean, it's something like the rest of the Coterie, minus maybe Sean, would actually realize is she's also been in torpor longer than she's supposed to have been. She's healed. There's no reason for her to still be in torpor unless she's like in a hunger torpor. But even then, you know, attempts have been made and she's never roused for a hunger frenzy and the like. She's truly been in this weird stasis now for a few days past what you expected it to be. Those who need to feed, how are we feeding? And I will also take a rouse check for the following evening as well.
Max, of course, being a bagger, is...
He's good.
He's hitting his fridge. And, of course, with Sam sort of out of action in terms of retrieving blood, over the last week or so, or a couple of weeks, Max has basically just been obfuscating, walking into the hospital, taking the blood himself. And
yeah, fair enough. Just taking what he needs.
Yeah, it's sort of like his Uber Eats driver is no longer working, so he has to go out and get it himself.
You know, the only issue, like it's not an issue, but the only thing that is now, there's no paperwork saying where this blood is going, so blood is just going missing.
Max is actually, and this is probably when he doesn't have a reliable ghoul, what he does, he's careful to sort of choose, because he's a bagger, he can basically eat scabs. He goes for blood that's expired and is about to be disposed of, that sort of thing. So it's sort of
even
like,
better.
Oh, that stuff was supposed to be incinerated. Where is it? And
Absolutely. So yeah, so while someone may know, it's not something that anybody really cares too much about in the end. And you just drink coagulated, half coagulated blood to keep yourself sated. Perfect.
Exactly.
Duke, you need to feed.
Yes, Duke is an extortionist, and he arranges all of his feeds through people that he's worked with.
Sean then needs to feed as well.
Yes, Sean's going to... he's going to ask Vera where that club was, or where the place was that she was like, there are people that like to get rough.
Is there a Fangs Out club, like a really, you know, leather-laced chains, the whole nine?
There are little spots here and there, and Vera would know of almost all of them, being a Toreador. And there's one in particular that was a big Sabbat hangout place for a while, back in the day, before Calibros came in, and then following, obviously, Panhard. And it was a place where a lot of group, what is it called? Valdery? Is that what it is? It's the group feeding initiation. A lot of that happened there. When the Camarilla took over, those who ran the place were smooth in their maneuverings, had a lot of money to throw their way, and with enough political favors and pull, they were able to become a Camarilla-sanctioned club with a little bit of a private Fangs Out place underneath. Not nearly as big as like a few other clubs that might be a much smaller place that holds maybe like 10 to 20 people all told, but it's a place where Kindred can go and be relaxed and comfortable amongst their peers.
Do you seek Vera out for this information?
Yep.
Yeah, as you make your way back into the blood room, stepping in, literally the lights off, you just see that dark orangish red glow illuminating a small part, and you can just see just in that orange glow a little bit of the prince every time it gets a drag pulled.
Vera.
Your thoughts and peace is interrupted by a voice you thought you said goodbye to 5 minutes ago.
Yes, Sean.
You said you knew a club.
I know many clubs.
The one we talked about earlier, the place for violence and blood.
Come in and close the door.
Okay.
He steps in and the door shuts quietly behind him.
I'm going to apologize for my demeanor earlier.
Oh, that's okay.
I would like to say, Sean, I don't particularly like taking in strays, especially not thin bloods, but you have grown on me, so please don't put me in a position to have to ask you to leave.
Wow.
If you would like to find a good Fangs Out club, there is one in the north end of town. It's called Fangs for the Memories.
They print that on the front of the club?
Unfortunately, yes. It is quaint and will serve whatever needs it is that you have.
Oh. All right, I'm off then. Thanks. Love you.
Vera goes back to the corner, puffs on a cigar.
The longest drag we see, just taking that big puff.
Trying to trust Sean here, yeah.
And Sean, as you approach this place, it's very clearly, you can see why it gets away with its name, at least on the surface. It's a big old goth club on top. As you go inside and you're loud and you there's a bouncer, so to speak, but there's not like a list of people who can and can't go in. Just kind of check your ID and, they usher you past. And this place, it's just like thriving with people here. There's not 15 or 20. There's like 100 people in this club. It's not a huge place, but it is rather loud and boisterous, even towards closing hour, maybe an hour or so away from now. But as you kind of peer through, you have an opportunity. You look around and you don't see Fangs or any kindred kind of approaching and what the like. There's a lot of people mashed together, people making out and doing their normal. But how would Sean? What would Sean do? Would you just kind of go into the club, grab a drink, or would you look around for maybe another of your kind?
I think he's going to look around for another kindred, because it seems like the done thing.
Do you have any ability to sense the beast or anything along those lines?
Absolutely none.
Oh, excellent. So wits awareness, it would be your only real chance at catching anybody here.
Guess I don't find a... 3.
Oh my, you rolled 3. And again, it's only 100 people or so. It's not like it's packed. As you're wandering around, how is Sean? Are you like looking for somebody like who may be going for a feed? Like, are you just kind of keeping eyes out for Fangs? How is Sean looking for another kind?
Oh, he's going to be looking for anyone that has fashion that is slightly out of date, and anyone either out of date or extremely expensive. And they just seem like they're really enjoying the smell of their own farts. That's how he would say it.
A little bit of peering through the club and making your way through small dance crowds on the dance floor. You actually do catch eyes of a particular gentleman over in a corner that has 5 or 6 people around him. He's dressed in a pitch black suit with a crimson red tie that goes from the perfectly tied neck tucked into his suit. And while the rest are dressed in their typical, like, kind of more goth, traditional clothing, the only thing goth about him, beside his pitch black suit and his red tie, is his pitch black fingernails. But that suit, as you get closer, is worth way more than anyone anywhere in this club has to offer here. And this club is not looking like it's pulling in a ton of money every night.
Yeah. Phew, that screams vampire. Okay. Yeah, he makes a beeline for that table.
As you make your way over to that table, as you get within maybe 50 feet of it, a bouncer type kind of like steps up in his just a t-shirt and jeans, and kind of just puts his hand on your shoulders like, whoa. VIP section, I don't see you looking like one of the VIPs. So he tries to spin you around and push you back toward the dance floor.
Ooh. No, hold up there, buddy. Mr. Crimson over there. There are rules. I've got to go talk to him, right? If I want anything. And
the bouncer looks down to you and looks back over. The guy not paying attention to you at all. He just says, "Stay right here," and he just turns and walks over to the gentleman in the suit. He leans in and whispers something into his ear, and in typical fashion, with his arms up on the booth, he's listening and kind of gives a smile and a nod. He looks up. You can see the guard kind of pointing at you, and then the gentleman kind of bobs his head to, like, for you to come over. His hair, now you get like a good look at him as the crowd parts. He's got a completely clean shaven face, short black hair that's slick gelled all the way back, and on his left hand he has a ring on every finger.
yeah, Sean saunters up, gives him a winning smile, and just says, "Hey, I'm Sean, and I think you're the person I need to talk to about getting what I need."
As you walk over and kind of put your hand out and introduce yourself, he waves away the small crowd of people, and they all disperse to nearby areas, grabbing foods and drinks and remingling with the dancing crowd. He actually makes a wide gesture for you to join him in the booth on the other side of the booth. It's a corner booth, so he sits on one side, and he gestures for you to take a seat on the other.
Yep, he does that.
Yeah, wordlessly, he brings his hands up off the booth and puts his elbows on the table while he crosses his fingers, and he leans in. You can see the rings are literally only on his left hand. Do you take a look at the rings, or are you more enamored with him?
Oh no, Sean obviously thinks very little of this man, so he's going to take in as much of him as he can. Rings and all.
Give me one more wits awareness as you take a look at the detail of the rings.
2.
No clan specific stuff that immediately sticks out as like, oh, he's wearing like a scepter, like a cross scepters or anything along those lines. However, you realize each one of the rings seems to have some sort of skeletal formation, a skull on one, a crossed bones on another. Definitely more grim and dark. Each one is a fantastically gold version of human remains of some sort. As you plop down, his hands cross and he kind of leans forward. He smiles widely, but you do not see fangs. He hasn't bared his fangs at all. And he's like, and you said your name was Sean. Did you give your last name?
No, just Sean.
He leans forward. He's like, and Sean what, buddy? Last name?
Best.
Sean Best. It's a name that suits you. He looks to the crowd of people and looks back to you. Well, I might be able to help you. What is it you're looking for?
I'm looking for blood.
He continues to smile and he nods. And what can you offer me in return to have choice of my fine herd? As he gestures to the whole club.
Well, I've got a boatload of cash. Or people don't normally ask this of me, but I guess, you ever heard of alchemy?
There, the smile fades a bit as an eyebrow raises. His head tilts ever slightly to the left, and he says, "What do you mean? Have I ever had an alchemy kit?"
Well, it's a thing I can do, and it's very versatile.
You watch as the fade completely fades from his face now. His eyebrows straighten. He sits up. He's like, half-breed.
Sean just gives him a big smile.
You even got the teeth to do this, or you're going to cause me a fucking mess I have to clean up?
No mess. Nice and clean.
Show me.
Aside from, I have a specific request.
One of your kind walking in here asking to feed on my people, and you're asking me for a fucking favor? I'm excited to hear it. What?
Specifically, I want this person to enjoy throwing fists. We're gonna have a Barney. Then I'm gonna eat him.
One can appreciate your enthusiasm. But I didn't answer the question. What the fuck can you offer me in return?
Oh, well...
You got money, but he kind of gestures to his suit and ring. He's like, I got plenty of that, where that comes from.
Yeah,
so what
that's
else
a good
you
point.
got?
Am I allowed to do this? I work at a club.
What club do you work at?
Succubus.
He leans back a bit and, you're the Russian's pet.
Oh, more of a partner, but yeah.
Nah, you're the Russian pet. You know, I know Vera. We go way back. Good girl she is. Go ahead. He gestures. Your choice.
Okay.
When I need something, I'll come ask Vera.
I'd rather you ask me. She's already pretty angry.
When you feed a dog, do you ask it for a favor? No, you ask the owner. Go enjoy. I'm glad you got fangs to take care of the situation. I don't need to clean up no razor mess.
Gotcha. Okay, then.
As Sean just kind of get up.
Immediately regrets this and then goes to find someone that... Yeah, he goes
As
to
you get up
find
to walk
someone
away,
that,
he actually's like, hey, kid. And he gives you like a sharp whistle. He makes a grand gesture over to there. He's like, last guy at the last stool at the bar. Always drinks way too fucking much. Insult his mother or something.
Oh, sweet. Okay. Cheers.
He just gives you a wink. And before long, you watch as the people who were surrounding him slowly crawl kind of back around him. And he loses himself in a more enjoyable conversation. Sean, there's a man who's just kind of leaned forward on the small bar in this club. And he's just pounding away at a fruity-looking beverage. Just like chugging it.
Sean sits next to him and just goes... Hell of a night, eh?
He just kind of snorts into his own glass and nods along with you as he finishes it. He motions to the bartender for another.
Your liver is gonna pay the price for that.
He looks to you and he's like, I don't give a shit, kid.
Well, you should.
He once again, as you keep talking, he's like, you gonna leave me the fuck alone, or are you gonna be here bothering me all goddamn night?
You're not much of a conversationalist, but...
Take a hint. And he goes and there's this other drink gets handed to him. He grabs it and just begins to drink.
Well, I was hoping that, I don't know. Do you want to kick the shit out of someone?
There's a hesitation as he looks like he's thinking about replying, and then he just brings the drink back up to his lips and takes a sip and puts it down, ignoring you.
Oh, you're a wimp. I get it. No, I get it.
Can you make me, please, a manipulation intimidation?
Absolutely.
I just like Sean walking up to this big guy. Hey, you wimp. You're a wimp.
That is 2, and I might... Well,
yep, you can reroll 2.
Yeah, I will.
3 successes total. He before long, as you call him a wimp, he just stands up and turns to you, and he just reaches to grab your ass by the collar. And he goes to like pull you, and he starts walking you to the front door.
Yeah.
Would you like to oppose, like, strength brawl check him?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
This guy is big, but he's not, like, muscly. He just has a lot of mass to the man.
Perfect. Sean is going to fight this man.
Well, his pool is 4d10. He's got 3 strength and 1 brawl. 1 success is what I rolled. 1 success is what Sean So you, as he goes to grab your shirt and trying to push you to the front door, you catch yourself. You grab the bar and you're able to plant your feet on the ground before he's able to budge you. and you're able to just stop there.
Hey, that's cheating.
What would you do? Are you gonna like go to bite him?
No, he's gonna rile him up a bit more.
Okay, you're gonna go. All right. He's gonna try and actually like pick you up now. Strength brawl again.
Yeah, let's do that.
God damn it. This guy's drunk. It's okay. Once again, he goes to pick you up, but you're able to just like latch your fingers under the bar, and he just can't get you completely off the ground. At that point, he gives up. Throw kind of tosses you and goes to wind up to just gut punch you.
Oh, you can't get me out of here. I'm made of twigs. Come on.
He gets an extra die, specialty in brawling. 3 successes finally.
Yeah, Sean's gonna fight back on this one. 4.
Damn it! So you actually do a point of superficial damage to him. He comes in for a gut punch. How do we see Sean react?
Sean just kind of steps really close to him so that the fist goes like between his arm and his side, and then just nuts him in the nose.
And as your forehead collides with his nose, you actually hear a deafening kind of crack as he just brings his left hand up, and you can see blood kind of being caught from his nose, and he looks to you with a rage now in his eyes. You've seen rage like this before on the streets and the like in your past. Words are now lost on this man. That's
blood. What I want to see. Now he's going to bite him.
All right, make me a bite attack.
Yeah. Is that brawls?
He's gonna get a penalty on his roll because you just busted his nose.
Strength brawl -2.
Strength brawl -2.
Oh, that's not good.
Well, he only rolled 1 success, so we'll see.
One.
I always give ties to the players, my friend. You know that. So you will have succeeded in latching your teeth into him. While you weren't able to do any damage, when you sink the teeth in, the kiss endures. Now, vampires can resist, and special types of humans can make resist rolls. However, normal mortals cannot. And once the teeth sink into him, he'll be gone. So, as you kind of bop him in the nose, and he stumbles back a step, bringing his hand up and catching blood, he looks to try and grab your shoulder, and you can see he's looking to try and elbow you. Just like, knee you, to grab your shoulder and bring you into his knee. And as he reaches and grasps onto your shoulder, what does Sean do in order to get a bite in? Where do you go to bite?
Yeah, if he's going for my shoulder, I'm gonna grab him by the wrist and then just go into the neck.
Okay, so you see as your shoulder is grabbed, you can hear his Sean's clothes rumpling under the grip, and as you're brought in close, Sean Riley kind of just bends his arm backward and then moves into the exposed neck area, and just as he's going in, and you can hear him actually like, "What the fuck?" before he can even finish his sentence. Your teeth are bared. They sink into his skin. You can feel his skin very delicately pierce, and then you can hear the gasps of air as the kiss overtakes him, and he falls into a more pleasurable state of mind. How hard do you feed on this man?
Sean needs 3 dots of blood.
Okay, wow. You're going to bring him into the danger zone. He's going to need a lot of medical. He's going to need medical attention afterward. That's what 3 dots does to a mortal. However, notably, as you feed and your teeth sink in and you drain and drain and drain, and you can feel his skin going colder and more pale as you do so, even tempted to maybe even finish this man off to completely go down to 0. You stop, and as you do so, fangs brought up, wound lick close, and as your fangs are tracked and you look around, everybody's just ignoring the shit out of you. No, the bartender nearby continues serving drinks. Those who were nearby drinking on the bar moved down a few seats, but continued their night. It was ignored.
Weird. Sean, realizes this and probably gets a bit awkward, but he's got what he needed, so...
And as Sean leaves the bar, then the camera stays inside the club. You leave, and the camera turns to the man in the booth. His arms are crossed. He's leaning forward, and the bunch of people around him are still speaking with him. But the camera catches him looking past them, watching as Sean leaves the front door, and his eyes linger on that front door as it wobbles shut a few times. And as the door settles, and his gaze lingers just another second, his eyes snap back up to the crowd, and he smiles and begins speaking again. And that's where we'll cut this episode. And we'll return next week with the next one. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Hey, it's Sean. Now, I'm sure you've heard Vera say no phones, but if we're going to break 1 billion followers, then I'm going to need you to do me a little favour. If you could hop onto Twitter and follow us at Pod by Night, that would be mint, and a 5-star review on iTunes ain't going to hurt either. And
maybe I'll share some of them spicy DMs with you. Cheers, mate.